Good, how are you?
Some of the neighbors
Just so
called.
you know, I'm recording.
So am I.
Okay.
Okay. No, some of the neighbors have called. They're concerned because you're out here with the sign.
Would you guys like to come in?
Sure.
Please, come on in.
Yeah,
They're outside, okay. Yeah, they're
concerned with
they're upset.
what you were saying outside.
Yeah, come on in, come on in. They are, I have my green card, by the way. If you'd like to see it, I can show it to you. They're upset because I went outside showing, pretty much talking about this. I'm talking about pretty much, unfortunately when I go outside, the neighbor in the corner has a habit of following me around with her dog. I've gotten tired of it, so I pretty much stood on the sidewalk, public property, and I just kind of talked about how substance-exposed newborn, negative, in case of neglect, bruises.
Okay.
I told them, if they want to see the records, if they want to see the documentation, they're more than welcome to come out. To be honest, I'll probably go out in another couple of hours. I won't go on anybody's property,
I mean, it's your First Amendment right. You can do that.
Right. I just want to let you know in case you get calls.
No, it's fine. I mean, you have every right to do it. I don't know if these people around here really want to see it.
I'm sure.
But like I said, it is public property. You have the right to express your freedom of speech. So, and we're not going to stop you from doing so.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But,
I will not get on anybody's property.
I was going to say, if you happen to get on somebody's property and they say you need to walk away, you need to get off, please just listen to what they have to say.
Absolutely. Officer,
And if someone disagrees with you because we all disagree with each other.
Some people like to escalate to violence, avoid
So
violence as much as possible.
if that happens, just walk away.
Yes,
Okay.
officer.
So I'll leave you to what you're doing.
Thank you.
So try to have a good day.
All right.
I
Nice to see you
appreciate
again.
You too.
And who's this officer?
That's Officer Lynn.
Officer Lynn? Jennifer. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Take care.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a good night.
And I'm sorry if you guys get more calls later.
No, it's okay.
Thank you again. Have a good one. Stay safe.
We'll do.
Hey guys, so the neighbors are less than pleased. Why is that? Well, I decided to go for a walk, and the neighbor who's been kind of meandering around in front of the house for a while with her dogs decided that she wanted to stop by again. I informed them, the usual, the case is fraudulent, Iris's health has declined. I have medical records, they didn't want to hear it. So I get back to the house and I grab my poster right here. I'm not really going to give much of it though, which ultimately shows the pictures of Iris's bruises, the blood work, the letter recommending Iris's return, and for my therapist, and the quote-unquote substance-exposed newborn results. This I will show you. This I can show you. The quote-unquote substance-exposed newborn results, which are having trouble focusing. There you go, right there. That are clearly negative across the board. Well, the neighbors didn't appreciate that I took this poster outside and started pretty much soapboxing, talking about how CPS takes children, and if you've been harassed by CPS, to please contact the Department of Justice. They didn't like that. Public property, on the sidewalk, no violence, and they called the police. Words and things. Pathetic. Really? Do you see what that bitch is doing to my daughter, and my words are hurting your feelings? No, honey. No, honey. That's not how this works. Now, I'm going to be out again in a few hours when you guys are in the middle of dinner. So I'm going to enjoy going back outside with this poster, and I will even make sure I have copies of the drug test results, the negative, drug test results, the negative drug test results, and I will have copies of Iris's blood work for you. So that way you can see Iris's blood work in my care compared to the day after CPS took her and the subsequent cancerous assaults on her that CPS is continuing to inflict upon her. So if you don't want me going outside talking about what's going on with Iris and how she's been abused in your care, well, you shouldn't have started lying. You shouldn't have been running your mouth. You shouldn't be trafficking children. And if you know what's going on, you need to contact the DOJ and tell them, because this isn't gonna fly. Christy, I don't exactly know what's going on in that situation, to be perfectly honest. The Department of Social Services has yet to conduct a DNA test. They've yet to prove that this child is really mine. So that also being said, since I'm already live streaming, oh, have you guys seen my nice little Q map, by the way? One day I got upset and decided to just kind of start making my own map on the wall. Kind of crazy, but it works. Oh yeah, so what I was talking about with what happened with Iris. The reason why I was so upset, thank you, Christy, blessings to you too. But the reason why I was so upset is when I was a child, I was probably about 3 or 4 at the time. And I have good news to end this off with, so I'll do this and then I'll get to the good news. But I was no older than 4 years old at the time. And I don't remember why, but I had gone to the hospital to visit, I don't remember who, I think it was family members or something. And there, I'm told to go into the nursery where there are all these babies and their cradles and everything, and push a cradle out. I think there was already one waiting in the hall. I believe there was, at least for the first time. And then I brought the cradle out and brought it to, I'm not exactly sure who it was. I think it might have been my handler at the time. I'm not sure. I'm sorry about that. But I brought it to him, and he took the baby from the one cradle that was already out in the hall and swapped the baby into the other cradle and put it back, and put the baby back. Not back in the original, but swapped them in the cradles. And then he had me push the cradle that had been swapped back into the nursery. I did, and when he did it, I wasn't really sure what was going on. He just kind of did it because, okay, he told me to, yay. And then a little while later, he had me do it again. I don't know if it was the same hospital visit or a different one. About a little while later, he had me do it again. And the second time he had me do it, I was more cognizant of what was going on. I was like, what, I was like, why haven't you put the baby back? And they tried to do it a third time, but the third time I said no, I'm not sure. But I think I knew what was going on by the third time and said, not happening, Satan. But that's part of my concern about why this is an Iris, is because I myself have unfortunately partaken in baby swapping. I know what the Department of Social Services does. I know that they tend to take children, vaccinate them, accidentally kill them, or even purposefully kill them, and then replace them with a similar looking baby. And to be perfectly honest, Iris's behavior was very different. She was swollen. Her mannerisms were different. The baby that I saw at the initial visitation, and also before Iris was taken, she didn't have seizures or anything like that. She didn't have tremors. She didn't have trembles or anything like that. They took her, and then the day, we see her again, bruises on the back of her hands, tremoring. She had a seizure, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I've been seeing this happening from the beginning. I saw Iris had a seizure one of the first times that we visited her. I pointed it out to Scott. Scott ultimately more or less ignored it because he didn't want to make waves. So I tried to talk to him about the seizure. He was like, I don't want to talk about it. So ultimately he was ignoring Iris's seizures because he didn't want to make waves with his mother and with CPS. Whereas, somebody else has clearly, obviously been trying to scream from the rooftops, bringing attention to what CPS is doing to our children. So, yeah, that's my concerns about what's going on with Iris and why I am still concerned about baby swapping because, I received word from a reliable source that part of the goal for taking Iris was to use her for the Easter time sacrifice last year. And that was part of their intention for her. I don't really know. I'm not sure. But I'm going to find out. And the way I see it is if this child let me rephrase, I'm sorry. If this child is not Iris, then the way I see it is odds are I'll raise it better than they would anyway. I'm not to be crude, But odds are, I could raise this child a hell of a lot better than her foster mother can. I mean, that's a 60-year-old woman with anger management issues, who thinks it's okay to scream, "I have virus, I have all the fucking control." I mean, that's clearly a very unstable person. So I'm sure I could raise Iris better than that. And I mean, look, if this woman thinks that this blood work is okay, then she's clearly got some real mental issues. But I digress. The point remains that, we've got these lunatics making these calls, ignoring information and all this kind of stuff. And they don't want to verify anything. They want to sit here and run their mouth and run their mouth and run their mouth, but they can't provide any actual verification for, hi Hilda, I miss you. It's been a while. But they don't want to give any sort of verification or evidence or clarification or anything like that. So, I mean, they're going to keep running their mouths, and that's going to continue that way. But I want to end this on a good note, and oh boy, do I have a great note for everybody. So today, in the mail, I got something wonderful for everybody. This one is for you, the people. So check this out. Heard back about the federal case, and notice of submission without oral argument. Your case will not be scheduled for oral argument. On June 4th, 2019, the clerk's office will submit your case to a 3-judge panel. The panel will then decide your case based on the argument in the briefs and the materials on record of your case. This procedure is called submission on briefs. In other words, We the People versus CPS is proceeding through the United States of Appeal for the Federal Circuit. Now, what is probably going to happen, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, I don't want you to expect anything big to come from this. I am fully 150% expecting this to not get quote unquote approved or whatever, and to not be ruled in our favor. That being said, as they know, I am very much strongly insisting and encouraging moving this case up to the Supreme Court. So, while I don't foresee getting a ruling in our favor on June 4th, or let me rephrase, while I don't see this case coming to an end on June 4th, I do see this case moving forward to the next step. And I understand that we don't like how long this is taking. I hate how long this is taking, and there's a lot more than I want to tell you. There is so much going on, guys. Oh my God. But I can't, and it really freaking sucks. I hate all of you who are making me keep my mouth shut. I don't do this well. Anyway, I digress. So, on that note, great news, guys. So anyway, on that note, I think I'm going to end this. I love you all very much. Oh, no, I'll leave that one alone. I'm not going to. We'll see. Oh! Okay, one more thing and then we'll let you go. I have a surprise. I'm probably going to be making a big surprise announcement on May 5th. Why May 5th? May 5th is my birthday, and I want to be able to celebrate a huge aspect of my birthday with We the People. So I will have a big announcement for you guys on May 5th. I love you all. Stay safe. Be aware. And always, always, always live in love, light, true unity. Where we go one, we go all. God bless.